Good day and welcome to View on Africa. What we're going to do today is speak on President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address that he gave yesterday in Cape Town. I think it was a calm, dignified and a substantive address. It was impressive by any measure. It was long. It lasted about an hour and 40 minutes. And the president managed to disarm Julius Malema and the economic freedom fighters in a very professional and sophisticated manner. And he went through a raft of government initiatives and efforts. He started off by first giving a review of the progress that the government have made under the year that he has been president. And then, of course, the big bang of the evening was the announcement of the elections on the 8th of May, which for President Ramaphosa is hugely important. This is where he will get, he hopes, his own mandate. He hopes for a substantive ANC majority. That means that he can break free of the stranglehold that he has within the governing party between the dividing and the opposing factions that has seen relatively slow progress the last year. So while the president, during the SONA address, was able to list a series of achievements ranging from the appointment of commissions of inquiry and efforts for foreign direct investment, a job summit and a variety of other initiatives and efforts, he is constrained. He is constrained by the fact that within the ANC, he still is he has not been able to entirely establish his domination, and he will only get a free hand with the elections. So the date of 8th of May is very important for the president. He was quite careful in the announcement of some of his major initiatives, the most important of which was Eskom, which is going to be divided into three components, but still under Eskom Holdings. He's sort of speaking about privatization eventually, but without mentioning the P word. Privatization is inevitable, in particular if we are to bring Eskom into manageable, cost-efficient service. And the risk that Eskom places on the South African economy is huge. It is too big to fail for South Africa. He made, again, a range of promises with regard to local procurement, to manufacture and export from South Africa, which we hope we will see some implementation. But the main problem that the president faces is the limited capacity that he has. And again, he referred to the promise that has been made a number of times to restructure government and the state. And he actually, in a number of instances during his address, went off script. And he said, well, boom, we're going to have a new government, a new state, and called for submissions on how that could happen. Clearly, the South African government is bloated, inefficient, and unable to deliver on many of the ambitions of the Ramaphosa administration. And there is cause for concern, for example, exactly how the National Health Insurance Scheme is going to pan out. We have literally a broken health system. And he made it clear that the only way to move towards a national health insurance scheme is cross-subsidization. Now, the South African private medical services are extremely expensive but very efficient, while that within government is largely inefficient, broken and underfunded. How this is going to pan out, I think, is going to be a challenge. He spent quite a bit of time speaking about corruption and prosecution, and it was very interesting that, of course, President Jacob Zuma, who is responsible for much of that corruption and state capture, was not at the SONA address, probably because he knows that he may, the next time around, perhaps be looking at this through the cells, looking at this from a very different vantage point from his cell, wherever he may be. He spoke at length about the new Director of National Public Prosecution and the establishment of a directorate that is going to focus specifically on prosecuting from the evidence that came from the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. This is music to the ears of South Africans. So generally, an impressive State of the Nation address. one that was broad-ranging, that quoted extensively also from the Commission of Work that President Ramaphosa co-chaired with the Prime Minister of Sweden. And he spent a significant amount of time speaking about what needs to happen in South Africa's educational system, ranging from preschool to a much greater focus on vocational education. Music to the ears, I think, of most South Africans. But the question does remain, does government have the capacity to deliver? Does the ANC have the capacity to deliver? And to what extent will President Ramaphosa eventually get a mandate on the 8th of May to be able to implement the initiatives, the broad ambition that he has outlined? South Africans live in hope, and the address by President Ramaphosa gives us a new basis that indeed we may see that this is the start of a turnaround in South Africa.